Socialist economy. The concept of socialist economy was propounded by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels in their work, The Communist Manifesto, published in 1848. In this economy was material means of production, that is, factories, capital, mines, etc., are owned by the whole community represented by the state. All members are entitled to get benefit from the fruit of such socialized planned production on the basis of equal rights. A socialist economy is also called as command economy or a centrally planned economy. Here, the resources are allocated according to the commands of a central planning authority, and therefore market forces have no role in the allocation of resources. Under a socialist economy, production and distribution of goods are aimed at maximizing the welfare of the community as a whole. Some important characteristics of this economy are collective ownership. There is collective ownership of all means of production except small firms, workshops, and trading firms, which may remain in private hands. As a result of social ownership, profit motive and self interest are not the driving forces of economic activity as it is the case of a market economy. The resources are used to achieve certain socio-economic objectives. Economic planning. There is a central planning authority to set and accomplish socio-economic goals. That is why it is called centrally planned economy. The major economic decisions such as what to produce, when and how much to produce, etc., are taken by the central planning authority. Absence of consumer choice. Freedom from hunger is guaranteed, but consumer sovereignty gets restricted by selective production of goods. The range of choices is limited by planned production. However, within that range, an individual is free to choose what he likes most. The right to work is guaranteed, but the choice of occupation gets restricted because these are determined by the central planning authority on the basis of certain socio-economic goals before the nation. Relatively equal income distribution. A relative equality of income is an important feature of socialism. Among other things, differences in income and wealth are narrowed down by lack of opportunities to accumulate private capital. Educational and other facilities are enjoyed more or less equally. Thus, the basic causes of inequalities are removed. Minimum role of prima facie minimum role of price mechanism or market forces. Price mechanism exists in a socialist economy, but it has only a secondary role. Example, to secure the disposal of accumulated stocks. Since allocation of productive resources is done according to the predetermined plan, the price mechanism as such does not influence these decisions. In the absence of the profit motive, price mechanism loses its predominant role in economic decisions. The price prevailing under socialism is administered prices, which are set by the centrally planning authority on the basis of socio-economic objective. Absence of competition. Since the state is the sole entrepreneur, there is absence of competition under socialism. The erstwhile USSR was an example of socialist economy from 1917 to 1990. In today's world, there is no country which is purely socialist. Other examples include Vietnam, China, and Cuba, North Korea. The world's most totalitarian state is another example of a socialist economy. Merits of socialism: equitable distribution of wealth and income and provision of equal opportunities all help help to maintain economic and social justice. Rapid and balanced economic development is possible in a socialist economy by the central planning authority coordinates all resources in an efficient manner according to set priorities. Socialist economy is a planned economy. In a socialist economy, there will be better utilization of resources and it ensures maximum production. Waste of all kinds are avoided through strict economic planning. Since competition is absent, there is no wastage of resources on advertisement and sales promotion. In a planned economy, employment is minimized, business fluctuations are eliminated, and stability is brought about and maintained. The absence of profit motive helps the community to develop a cooperative mentality and avoids class war. These, along with equality, ensure better welfare of the society. Socialism ensures right to work and a minimum standard of living to all people. Under socialism, the laborer and consumers are protected from exploitation by the employers, and are um, monopolies respectively. There is provision of comprehensive social security under socialism, and this makes citizens feel secure. Demerits of socialism: socialism involves the predominance of bureaucracy and the resulting inefficiency and delays. Moreover, there may be uh, corruption, red tapeism, favoritism, etc. It restricts the freedom of individuals as there is state ownership of the material means of production and state direction and control of nearly all economic activities. Socialism takes away the basic rights such as right of private property. It will not provide necessary incentive to hard work in the form of profit. Administered prices are not determined by the forces of the market on the basis of negotiation between the buyer and the sellers. There is no proper basis for cost calculation. In the absence of such practice, the most economics and scientific allocation of resources and the efficient functioning of the economic systems are impossible. State monopolies created by socialism will sometimes become uncontrollable. This will become more difficult to regulate than the private monopolies under capitalism. Under socialism, the consumer have limited freedom of choice. Therefore, what the state produces has to be accepted by the consumers. No importance is given to personal efficiency and productivity. Laborers are not rewarded according to their efficiency. This acts as a disincentive to work. The extreme form of socialism is not at all practicable. The mixed economy. The economic system depends on both markets and government for allocation of resources. In fact, every economy in the real world makes use of both market and governments and therefore is mixed economy in its nature. In a mixed economy, the aim is to develop a system which tries to include the best features of both the controlled economy and the market economy while excluding the demerits of both. It appreciates the advantage of private enterprise and private property with their emphasis on self-interest and profit motive. Vast economic development of England, the USA, etc. is due to private enterprise. At the same time, it is noticed that private property, profit motive and self-interest of the market economy may not promote the interest of the community as a whole, and as such the government should remove this defect of private enterprise. For this purpose, the government itself must run important and selected industries and eliminate the free play of profit motive and self-interest. Private enterprise, which has its own significance, is also allowed to play a positive role in a mixed economy. However, the state imposes necessary measures to control and to regulate the private sector to ensure that they function in accordance with the welfare objective of the nation. Features of mixed economy: coexistence of private and public sector. The first important feature of a mixed economy is the coexistence of both private and public enterprise. In fact, in a mixed economy, there are three sectors of industries: private sector, public sector, and combined sector. Private sector production and distribution in this sector are managed and controlled by private individuals and groups. Industries in this sector are based on self-interest and profit motives. The system of private property and personal initiative is given full scope. However, private enterprise may be regulated by the government directly and or indirectly by a number of policy instruments. Public sector industries in this sector are not primarily profit oriented but are set up by the state for and welfare of the community. Combined sector, a sector in which both the government and the private enterprise have equal access and join hands to produce commodities and services, leading to the establishment of a joint sector. Mixed economy has the following merits available to capitalist economies and socialist economies: economic freedom and existence of private property which ensures incentive to work, price mechanism and competition forces the private sector to promote efficient decision making and better resource allocation. Consumers are benefited through consumers sovereignty and freedom of choice. Appropriate incentive for innovative and technological progress encourages enterprise and risk taking. Advantages of economic planning and rapid economic development on the basis of plan priorities. Comparatively greater economic and social equality and freedom from exploitation due to greater state participation and direction of economic activities. Disadvantages of cutthroat competition averted through government legislative measures such as environment and labor regulations. However, mixed economy is not always a golden path between capitalism and socialism. It could also suffer from substantial uncertainties. Mixed economy sometimes is characterized by excessive controls by the state, resulting in reduced incentive and constrained growth of the private sector. Poor implementation of planning, higher rates of taxation, lack of efficiency, corruption, wastage of resources, undue delays in economic decisions, and poor performance of the public sector. Moreover, it is very difficult to maintain a proper balance between the public and private sector. In the absence of strong government initiative, the private sector is likely to grow disproportionately. The system would then resembles capitalism with all its disadvantages. Summary: the basic problem of scarcity gives to many of the economic problems. The basic problem of scarcity gives rise to many of the economic problems. Unlimited human wants and scarcity of resources leads to the central economic problem like what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. The basic economic problems of what, how, and for whom to produce are solved by different economies in different ways. A capitalist economy uses the tool of price mechanism. A socialist economy uses the tool of central planning, and a mixed economy uses a mix of both price mechanism and central planning to solve its basic problems.